Welcome to the Hearts of the Community with Jew and Jay. I'm Jay, and this is my brother.
I'm Jew. You know what we do.
Word. And I'm not even going to be true to the crew.
And we might have to do this every episode because this is what we do and it's not new.
Word. I think another thing we should do is called translation, right? And, of course, they did that in battle rap. But I think we have this chemistry where we literally be talking about each other's generation. And, like, just for understanding, I know we know what it means, but I think we get but we get a lot of feedback on the jokes that we put on the shorts. Like, so translation, what do that mean just for people? But shouts out again to shouts out again to everybody who's participated in we love y'all, the community. The feedback that we're getting is super dope. So we want to start off first by saying we appreciate y'all. But jumping
Hold on,
straight.
let me say it too. I want to say thank y'all.
I said right? we want to say.
Hey, y'all see translation. I don't let this dude speak for me. I'm still doing it, but nah, we really appreciate y'all. The love is from a deep place, and me and my brother, he not gonna be the one to say it, so I'm gonna be the one to say it. We be giddy offline. We be like, oh man, thank you, dog. We love what we doing, man, because we love this, and we appreciate all of you. You will say it too?
Yeah, I
From the facial expressions you make then.
I wouldn't say giddy, but y'all make me feel something. We working on that. That's the purpose of the podcast, all right? So we working on that. No, y'all do make me happy though. The feedback is super dope. To know that some of y'all are into the movies. I know some of y'all are into anime, music, movies. This is our life. My life is really lyrics and movies. But anime, I'm not on it yet, but bro, keep telling me to look at it. And I keep refusing, but I'll get on the train at some point. I'm not knocking it. I just want to be in a good space to really give it the attention. And, like my brother always says, timing is very important.
I got to add something to that because this probably is going to be what we talk about today, conflict resolution. I used to think so I get my curse words and I'm telling y'all always each episode, I got 5, here's one. I used to think he was bullshitting when he would say stuff like that. Like, hey, Drew, I'm sorry I getting a chance to text you back because, I needed to pay full attention to the message. I'm like, what is he talking about? Just read the message and respond back to me. But then my girlfriend, shouts out my baby.
Shouts out sis.
Yeah, she is the exact same way. Like because she feels like it's disrespectful to not give her full undivided attention. While for me, I'm like, I'm just reading the text message. So when he used to say things like that, like, man, I want to be able to give the show my full me. Like, bro, if this dude don't just watch the show. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in there. Oh, conflict resolution. So I actually talked to him about that and I asked him about that. I said, yo, why do you say that you want to give something your full attention? Just look at it. And he was like, because I got to be in the right headspace. He's a thinker. He likes to pay attention to detail. He likes to pay attention to everything. I can just watch it. And so that's the big difference. And so the conflict resolution here was us even talking about something that I figured that was, I'm not going to use it this time, BS. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a small example. We'll probably get into more later, but just wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, that's dope because shouts out to our cousin Mel, because Mel's like that. I hit Mel up for some advice last week, and I was like, "What you think?" Y'all know I talk a lot, so I made the story very short, and I was like, "What you think?" And he was like, "I think you need to tell me more because I don't think I can give you an answer." And it's that context. So we pay attention to context, and we pay attention to ourselves. And I, as a DJ and as a producer. Well, I'll just say as a producer, when you're a producer, or an engineer, you want to hear how your music sounds in every device. So you're going to hear it in the studio. You're going to hear it on the laptop. You're going to hear it on the phone. You're going to hear it in the car. You're going to hear it in the club. And you're making, I'm not going to say assumption, but a solution based off of how that sounds. So you want to give it your all. And then, like you said, I looked at that as disrespect if I'm not giving somebody my full attention. Because I would notice certain music that I would listen to. I'd be like, I don't like that. But I would pay attention to where I listen to it at, the time of day I listen to it, the mood that I was in. And that catered toward, man, this is whack. It's like, no, you're not in the headspace to even listen to this. You can't even take it in.
sorry to cut you off. That's something that you say all the time about like if you in a mood for listening to rap music, you ain't gonna want to hear a love song. That don't mean you
Right.
don't like the love song. That just means timing. The timing
Yeah.
was wrong. That's such a great way of that's another great example of saying that because so many people don't understand timing and conflict resolution. Like you sometimes it's good to let people sit with it 48 to 72 hours because they don't want to respond with something that they don't mean. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
important for people always say, "Oh, you're the angry you is the true you." And it's like, no, that's the me that's tired. That's the me that's fed up. And people don't want to pay attention to that because that's accountability that you now have to take for the things that has now led up to this. I'm not justifying the action, but this is a cause and effect here. So bringing
Hmm.
up conflict resolution of what you were saying as far as timing is, did music teach you that the timing of something was so important, or did DJing teach you that?
Mm.
Because you can't
How
play rap
important?
music at a quinceanera.
Well, technically, you can, but I get what you're going where you're going with this.
Really, you could?
Uh, yeah. Okay. Let me answer that, and then I'm gonna answer your question.
Okay.
So the reason why you can is because with the dope DJs know is you don't just prepare for the event, you prepare for the people. So
Uh,
you never know it's a quinceañera, but they just might want to switch it up. I did an event where they was like no cussing at all. 11 p.m. hit, yo, let's go with that. Or you know what? I did an event in Milwaukee. Shouts out to the town, but me and my best friend Mar, we was at Alverno doing an event for Battle Scar Kids. Shouts out Battle Scar Kids. I love giving people shout outs. But you know,
we know.
we was
What gave it
we
away?
that's his favorite phrase, what gave it away. But we was doing the event and we have a playlist set to the event, set to Battle Scar Kids. And I started to see people come in, and I'm like, oh yeah, we about to go straight into Beady Beady Bum Bum. We about to play some Selena. And these were
Uh,
people that had nothing to do with the event, but they were in the space. Once I put that on, it turned into a whole nother event. So you just want to prepare. And I think that kind of goes to what we're talking about is that preparation and understanding what headspace you in or knowing, since I'm a thinker, it could be another headspace. But to answer your question, you said, was music the thing that gave me that type of intel? And I think it was. I think uh it was actually business from music. So what happened was back in the day, we used to submit music to record labels. We would have an A&R or a connection that we would have, like let's say Atlantic Records, and we would
mhm,
submit music. And then like I might be submitting with my people that I was working with, and my best friend Mar we might have produced together, but we're submitting different music to different labels or different
mhm.
people. So, we would get, no, that's not really what we're looking for, and blah, blah, blah. And I would get tight. I'm the one that gets angry a bit faster.
Because you felt like you thought everything through.
Right. That's exactly what it is. Like, this is what y'all asked for. Like, for example, I know this is not the right time to say it, but we submitted music to the Dirty Money album with Diddy and Dawn and Kalina.
Dog said this is not the right time to say
Not the
this.
right time, but I'm using this for example.
Wow,
I'm
that's
not
funny.
I'm not doing
No,
this
I
for
get what
shock
you're
value.
saying.
Yeah, but
No, yeah.
it fits the example. So if you listen to Dirty Money album, it's a fusion of music. It's not just R&B. It's not just rap. Like there's a lot of different sounds in there. We had no idea what that album was going to sound like. Well, the message we got from the connections that we got was we need another All About the Benjamins. And we don't know what that means. Does that mean we need a record as big? Does it need to sound like that? Is it as
Mm.
fast? So it does allow us to think a lot. So when we heard the album, they chose none of our beats or records, but the music that me and Mars submitted, because we produced together, it fit right with that album. That was regular stuff that we had already did. But saying that to say that when we would get the response back, Mar will always be like, man, you never know the mood that A&R is in to tell us no. So
What's the
like, for
A&R?
example, artist repertoire. So what they do is
Okay.
basically, if you are working on the album and you're the artist, the A&R is basically choosing the music that's fitting the album or choosing the songs. So it's like,
Oh,
say
okay.
we're working on a rap album and you got a producer that likes Jamaican music, reggae, and they keep sending rap beats that have a reggae feel because that's their sound. My job as the A&R is to say this is not what we're looking for. Or,
Okay.
hey, Jew, I think you should try this. I think this will really fit your album, right? They kind of work with the artist development as well too. But most importantly, they're fitting like a Khaled. Khaled knows how to put people together and make things sound cohesive. He's a
Mhm.
great A&R. You will want him on your project if you're trying to find an identity, a project that sounds, even though it's 12 songs, but they sound cohesive, right? So do that. Mar will be like, yo, maybe they just wasn't, in the mood today. Like, or maybe they had a bad day and they telling it's just like we all do in
Give
corporate
yourself
America.
options.
Yeah, but it's just like a regular day in corporate America where people would be like, think about people that that have had, because we don't really do it, but you have a bad day and you go to work with that bad day, and then now your customers feel that bad day, and they're like, dang, like I didn't even. Shouts out to Christian. I ain't even do nothing to do. Like, what's wrong with him?
What's wrong with dude?
Yeah, but it rubs off. So that's where I start to develop like looking for that, because I'm like, okay, I'm not, and you do it too. You just don't do it as direct as me. Like, bro, you don't give context behind it. You be like, bro, I ain't gonna be able to do that right now. Like, God just told me no. Like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, but it's the entitled feeling. But you're going through something. Whatever, and going through something don't always mean that it's a big deal. You just have
Yes.
something else going on to where you can't give this attention, or you don't want to give it attention, and that's a boundary.
And people don't that's where the don't want to. People don't want to hear that because it sounds bad. It sounds like
Right.
I'm doing something wrong because again, conflict resolution has always been taught with its negative. It's never
Yep.
been taught when it can just be a neutral standing. Like I
Right.
don't have to be upset with you to have conflict with you. It could be something as simple as, yo, something that you did unintentionally made me feel this way.
Yep.
And sometimes it is hard to hear that because you like, I did it unintentionally, bro. Quit tripping. But it's like, what's more important? That moment right there, that pride, or talking to that person. And sometimes, I always tell you, second curse word coming. If you saying fuck that, I'ma say fuck that. That's three. So I only got
And
two
I
more.
say that, and I say that a lot.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be right there with them. But if you want to talk it out, I'm gonna be right there with you too, because I'm options based in that sense. And if you're not ready to talk about it, I can't force you to do it. So kind of going, speaking of conflict, what would you say conflict to you growing up was? Like, what was your first example of conflict?
Oh, I got it. So I'm gonna go high school. I don't want to go back farther and like forcing myself to think. But conflict I had was my mother. My mother, shouts out to Ma Dukes, but mom didn't let me listen to rap music or secular music, right? So the only people she would let me listen to in front of her was like New Edition, and she loved the Brat. Like that was a rapper that she liked. So that song, I'm gonna give it. He too young. He don't know what that is. But the cussing music, she would find my CDs or my cassettes and literally break them. Now, if you
Damn.
know me, at this point nowadays, like y'all can just spend $10 and get all the music y'all want for streaming. I was spending my money that I either worked for or I got at Marquette Upward Bound pre-college program. They would give us like stipends. Some people would go buy candy or whatever. I would go buy music. So I go get it and stash it under my bed. She would catch it, break it, break it. What's this Tales from the Hood soundtrack? Break it. You know what I mean? And I stopped saying something because I kept buying it over again. But eventually I was like, nah. I was like, can we talk? Like, cause uh
Ah.
like she was like, I don't like this music being played in my house. And I'm like, but I like the music. And so, we're literally going back and forth because my mom wouldn't let me watch stand-ups, none of that. Like,
Really?
she wasn't one of them ones where it's like you can't listen to music, but she was like an all-around mom. Like, nah, this
Yeah.
you can't do none of this, none of this. So, um, I was like, Mom, and I literally put it to her in this phrase. I can't think of the word. Bernie Mac wouldn't be as funny if he didn't cuss, right? Like, think of the schemes that he gives and
Hmm.
take the cuss word out of it. Would
I
it
ain't scared of
be
you.
funny?
I ain't gonna use my last
I
two.
ain't scared of nobody in here. Like, come on now.
That'll
That's
be
it sound like one of your jokes. You know what I'm
boo.
saying? So yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
almost used my fourth one. I
That's what we're
almost
gonna
used
have
my
to
fourth one. Hey, we should start a tally. We should start a
that's
tally
exactly,
for wait. Fuck
And
you.
then have one where you take one away. That'd be hilarious, yo. Like, give me that back.
It
But
ain't even
yo,
hit. That was one. I'm a negative one right now because it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Word. But nah, but I literally I always knew how to explain. Now, whether people understood it or not was different. But I knew how to I knew how to explain, like, Robin Harris, rest in peace, Robin Harris and Bernie Mac. Robin Harris to me was Bernie Mac before Bernie Mac. I hate when people say that. But the same characteristics and gestures and aggressive manner that he had on stage was Robin Harris, like trout mouth heathen, like,
Yeah.
those words, those convictions, how aggressive. And that's what I liked in music. It's like, yo, I don't just care for them cussing. I like how they said it, how they put this line together. I like what they did with the hi-hats. I could explain that at a very young age. So I'm like, is there a way we can compromise? Like, I literally said that. Like, and this is me in high school. So, and I'll never forget because I bought the BG home now, but I bought BG's Checkmate album. I bought like 3 CDs and Beanie Siegel, the Reason. I bought that. I think that was out around then. And she was like, you can play this music, but you have to keep your volume down. Right. That was her compromise. So I never forget. And this is one I'm a cuss. I'm almost done too.
No, you good.
Uh I was feeling it. This go again. When you in your moods, you want to turn
Yeah.
your music up. At certain times you don't want to hear it as loud. I'm in that mood. I'm turning it up. She busted in my room. I guess it's her room. That's why she busted in there. She busted in the room and I'm looking at her.
How much time in between you turning it up and her coming in the room?
I don't think it was that long, brother.
And she was on something, no ear hustling. I can't
I,
wait for this
I,
volume to go up.
yeah, right. Like Mars, don't do nothing to me.
Hey, we love you,
But
moms. We love you.
I can't. Somebody just came in the room, so I can't say the word.
Let me
But
know. I say it,
the B word.
bitch.
But no, see, that don't
Oh,
count. We ain't gonna count that as one. You gotta say it in a high pitched voice, like,
bitch.
yeah, that right. Now you said it right when I said it, so it looked like I said it. But no, it was one of them. So I'm like, she was like, turn this down. Again, see, these are moods. She tells me to turn it down, but that is not what she meant. She heard that word, right?
Yeah.
So I said, it ain't even that loud. Mind you, my mom always say this, and it is true, even though she don't say it. We lived in projects.
Uh-huh.
So I had to have everything down. So she'd be like, turn it down, it's too loud. It's on one. I can't put
Zero
like
subtitles.
back in the day, you had those TV, you don't know because you're too young, but back in the day, you would turn the channel and the volume with a knob. So it would be on one, and she'd be
Man,
like,
I
turn
do
it
know
down.
about that. I do know
Okay, my
about that.
bad.
Yeah,
My
don't do
bad.
that.
I mean, you know about it. You wasn't there though. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. We was outside, as y'all
You
say.
had, yeah, y'all had them rolling down windows, nigga. Y'all had a workout every time y'all got in the car. Every time y'all had to roll the window down, that tricep was burning. It was every time.
Hey, but why do y'all have recordings and cameras in y'all car and y'all still can't back up?
You know what's crazy? We was talking about conflict resolution, and so as we
Yeah, yeah. Like I always said that too. I tell my son, shouts out to E, I tell him to
hey, we
look
gonna get a
still.
shout out counter for you. I didn't think that's about 8. Yeah, that's another. We gonna start
Hey,
these things.
you should have stopped me like I did you on that short. As I told you, like, all right now. But look, my point to that with Ethan, I was like, how are you going to explain to a police officer that you ran into something while the camera was going and you watched it happen? Like, I don't even get that. That's y'all new generation. But anyway, so she came in and she said it was loud enough for me to hear them say,
Bitch.
right, I ain't had nothing, right? So, but again, I wanted to know if the offer still stood. I mean,
You did not ask right then. You did not
I,
ask right then.
how else would I know? Because
Shout
see,
out Ethan.
again, I'm not. I was just about to say that I'm not like y'all. Y'all gonna roll the dice. I'm not gonna be one of the ones to be like, well, she ain't say no. Like, I'm pretty sure I tried it once or twice in my life, but it's like, so I'm good. It's like, keep it down. Okay, cool. So we have an understanding then. That's how I looked at it.
I need
Right.
to pause you right there because James, something that because I want to come prepared for this because I thought this was conflict resolution.
So
And
you didn't come
people,
prepared last couple times. All right, go ahead. You got it.
what I meant come prepared, I meant like have multiple options for somebody that's a knucklehead like you, because I know we get knuckleheaded listeners. Like,
That
shouts
is
out to my boy EJ.
shouts out to
Uh,
EJ, but that's some old stuff. I don't know nobody in your generation to say knuckleheads. But keep going,
I
continue.
also say shenanigans. Hey,
Oh,
James, I got another counter. How many times I say some old head? Because it's gonna happen a lot.
talking about me.
Man, so look, we got 7 points for conflict resolution. And
Okay.
it's important that you did a lot of these things except for the first part, which was actually you did all of these. You did all of these things in
Sound about
full.
right.
Yeah, you specifically. You don't do it all the time. That's what I'm yo, self a pat on the back, brother. Oh, yeah, they ain't gonna let me do it right now. So the first thing, identify the source. Hey, the effects you put last time was cold. Um,
Got you.
Identify the source of conflict. So understanding I got this all written down if y'all see me looking. Um, you know, we got to identify the source of conflict. As we identify the source of conflict, that needs to be the first step because most people want to jump right into resolutions, and that's not the case at all. When you can't, how can you solve something you don't know what the problem is? You only know what your problem is. You don't know what the other person's problem is, and that's why we have so many people that feel selfish out here, if that makes sense. And understanding the source of conflict allows you to go and understand all perspectives. So listening actively to each person, it involves to understand their viewpoints. You have to listen actively. It's not a passive thing. There's two differences. You listen to respond versus listening to understand. One of those
Mhm.
is a key factor in this type of conflict resolution because if you're listening to respond, you're not trying to solve it. You're trying to just be heard. If you're listening to understand, you're trying to see what maybe is being miscommunicated or what's the middle ground that we can probably find here, which takes us to number three. Focus on the
Wait,
issue. Yep.
sorry, before you go to number
Oh,
three,
perfect.
you didn't say number two. So do that one again. But my question for you still is does the person need to tell the other person that they understand for there to be an understanding for communication's sake, or they don't have to? As long as they understand, that's all that matters.
Got you. So I'm gonna go backwards first. Number two is understand all perspectives. So I'm glad you said that because that way we can keep it together. Because I was saying this leads into this, but that's not saying it as clearly as number two.
All
So
right.
step two, understand all perspectives. My girl actually helped me with this. It does need to be said because sometimes when we just go into responding, it feels like the person didn't hear you because sometimes we have conflicting opinions or conflicting thoughts. So if you tell me you like McDonald's and I don't tell you I understand and I just say, well, I like pizza, you gonna think I didn't hear you, you
Yeah.
know? So that's the extra step that needs to be taken in communication. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. So number three, focus on the issue and not the person. This is something me and you talk about this all the time. It's not y'all versus each other, it's us versus the problem. And so many times we focus on the other person rather than the problem. The problem is miscommunication, not you didn't hear me. So how can I now what can either I do to help you hear me better or what can you do to listen a little bit more actively? And so
Okay,
sometimes we
now
nope,
let
you got
me
it.
I'm cutting you off on purpose. Let me insert my example that I told you before. This happens in Houston in traffic, and it happens for me specifically when I'm at the grocery store. I'm trying to come out of an aisle. There's somebody trying to come in the aisle. We both looking at each other like we crazy, like what you doing? What you doing? And the aisle is just not big enough for both of us. It's not a fault on me or you, or
Mm-mm.
my brother had to learn this the hard way. These Houston roads sometimes they just merge or turn into dead ends with no notifications, no signs, no nothing. He was laughing at me at first until he found out like it's a real thing here. But in the process of that, we're arguing with each other like, "What's wrong with this? You crazy? You driving?" And
Yeah.
it's like, no, there's an issue that both of us need to hit the city up about.
And they
But
trying to
it's
kill y'all. Like, let's start from there. Like, there's no, you about to get me on my soapbox because there's no reason the road should be that stupid. Like, there's no you know I want to cuss, but I'm refraining. That's how dumb it is because those people they have. Okay, let me get back on the focus. I'm focusing on a person and not the issue. Hey. So, it's dope that you said that though, because we'll probably have another episode on this. It's called fundamental attribution error. This is something where we don't consider context. We just focus on whether what that person is doing or what they're not doing. And so but that kind of goes into focus on the issue, but not the person. But going into number four, brainstorm possible solutions. I think this is a big one that people miss. Brainstorm is either collectively or by yourself. So there has to be some accountability here. It's not always on one party to brainstorm a solution when the other person also has a working brain. And so sometimes it's best to do it together. Maybe you write down the possible solutions. Maybe you do it in a different format, but it's not fair for one person to always feel like they're giving solutions or giving the thing. Yes, my brother.
All right, and I'm putting my hand up, and I know y'all gonna say in the comments, man, let him cook,
Mhm,
and I understand it. This is important though.
mhm.
Um, what happens when a person doesn't feel like they have anything that they can give? Like, you know how people they know how to tell you no, they know how to tell you
Uh-huh.
what you did wrong, but they can't help. You know what I mean? So how does that person do that? Because I know you said it could take two to resolve, but what if the person who may have an issue, or let's not even say that they have an issue, how do both parties find a resolve when one person may feel like they, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to help?
Then they got to be willing to follow.
Okay.
So that's where it becomes simple. You don't know what to do? Okay, just follow me then, and we'll figure it out together. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I feel like that sometimes people don't want to follow. So it's like, now what accountability are you taking? You don't want to find a solution and you don't want to follow? Come on now, I need you to do something. Or you don't think this is a conflict. You don't think this is a problem. So maybe there's a deeper issue here. Why do I feel like this is a problem and you don't? Oh, because I view it like this and you don't view it like that. So then there's the understanding, and now we back to step two. Understand all perspectives. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it's still
mhm.
kind of conflict resolution. And then that leads us into step number five, negotiate and agree on a solution. I think the last part is important. Agree on a solution. So many times people just negotiate it, and then it's like, okay, okay, no, no. Do you understand and do you think this is something you're gonna be able to do? Yes, I do feel like that. Do you feel like that? Yes, I do feel like that. Okay, what happens if we don't? How can I keep you accountable? Those is how you agree on solutions. So for an example, look at it like a contract. It's not just this is the deal in the contract. There's a clause if you break that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? So there's that accountability piece there.
Talk
My
your
brother
stuff,
taught me that.
brother.
Hey, you
Yeah,
taught me
talk
that,
your
man.
stuff.
Hey,
Talk that
yeah,
business.
hey, and it step number 6, implement the solution. That's exactly what I was talking about, having that accountability. But this is the biggest part that I think sometimes parents, couples, friends forget. Follow up. It doesn't just happen one time and that's the end of it. Yo, we talked about this. We've been doing this. How do you feel about what we did? Because now that's gonna promote the same type of intentionality next time. It's going to promote that same type of conflict resolution. But something to remember is progress is a linear. So you're not going to always do it because sometimes your emotions are in a way. Shannon Sharp, old freaky ass said, when emotions are high, logic is low.
What
So,
is that? 7, 8? I'm out of numbers. Bad Boys One.
ass, I,
I'm out of body.
I feel like ass is a
Cuss
general
word.
term. I feel like Grayson could say that.
Yeah, you feel like it. I can't take your feelings away, but I
Hey, look
dare
at
you, son. I triple dog.
hey, I think that's the perfect. It's gonna be some conflict resolution there, huh?
Gonna be some furniture moving when it's rest in peace, Bernie Mac.
Oh
Whenever I
man.
see him, it's gonna be a misunderstanding. Do you know how funny that is? I know we about to jump to 7, but do you know how intentional it is to say whenever I see you, there's gonna be a misunderstanding?
That means I don't care where we at. I'm gonna misunderstand
We
something.
are not gonna be on the same page. Like again, that's why I liked it. Like, okay, my bad. We on number
No,
7.
no, 7 was follow up. Just going through and being intentional with checking in of yo, like for an example, me and my girl, we had a situation where I was freaking out. She started freaking out too. I'm like, yo, we both can't be freaking out. Somebody got to remain calm in the situation. So we came to an agreement. Okay, if I'm freaking out, you're going to try to remain calm and regulate yourself. If you freaking out, I'm going to do the exact same thing. That way, somebody's holding each other accountable. That's the follow up as well of checking in.
Shouts out to my wife because she did the same thing. There was a place that I was gonna go that she had been, and I'm being very discreet when I say this for a reason. And she was like, "Look, we both can't go to this place because we both gonna come home with the same type of attitude and just gonna mess the house up." Which I
That's
really,
smart.
yeah, because I was, sometimes your intentions are right, but it's at the wrong time, right?
Ooh, that's
So
it.
that it was one of them. Now, Cyclops. Shouts out to the
And we
community.
subscribe. We can't forget to tell our lovely community that's viewing and dropping in to subscribe, man, because we love y'all
Subscribe.
and we want to interact with y'all. So y'all drop comments, y'all like, y'all tell y'all people so we can talk to them. We love
All right.
y'all, man.
Heart to the community. Jew and Jay. Love.
Take care, y'all.